And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk, where we talk all things Brevard College Tornado athletics, and another exciting show on tap tonight. It's hoop season, so we'll be talking a lot of men's and women's basketball throughout the evening. But before we get started, like we always do, want to thank our sponsors. Appreciate their support of Brevard College Tornado athletics. Arby's, Brevard Orthopedics, BSN Sports, eGolf Ford of Brevard, Hampton Inn, Ingles, Jets Pizza, Pepsi, Triangle Stop, and Young Transportation. Appreciate their support of Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Well, want to catch you up around the world of Brevard College Tornado Athletics, and cycling is on their way this week to what will be another national championship opportunity for the 10-time national champion Brevard College cycling program. They head to Chicago, Illinois for the USA Cycling Cyclocross National Championship. That takes place later this week. They were loading in the trailer earlier this afternoon, preparing for that big event. So best of luck to Coach Brad Purley and Coach Cypress Gorey and that entire squad as they head to the Cyclocross National Championships. Be sure to just stay tuned to BC's social media, and we'll be bringing you updates throughout the week from the Cyclocross National Championships. Well, men's basketball has been in action this season, and last week, a 90-82 loss to Bob Jones. We'll be talking to Alex Wesig, who had a career-high 24 points in 25 minutes in that one. Also, Garrett Sutherland with a career-high 10 points. Charles Reed had 8 rebounds, also a career-high in that one. Then a tough loss, 70-57 at Emory and Henry. Next up for the Tornadoes, if you're in the Swannanoa area, BC will be visiting Warren Wilson. That's 6 p.m. tomorrow night, Tuesday night. So be sure to head on over to Swannanoa if you're in that part of Western North Carolina and check out the Tornadoes versus Warren Wilson. And then Brevard returns to the home-friendly confines of the Boshemer Gymnasium this Saturday, 2 p.m., men's basketball versus Berea, 2 p.m. at the Bosch. We'll be talking to head coach Lee Burgess and a couple of the Tornado student athletes from that men's basketball team later in the show. That brings us to women's basketball, where the Tornadoes defeated Pfeiffer 74-61. That was after a loss earlier in the week versus Barry. Unusual scheduling where the Tornadoes played 3 games in roughly 4 days, to be exact. And the Tornadoes, a 74-61 win over Pfeiffer in the second of the 3-game homestand. A big night that night for Destiny Williams, also Makenna Parkins, who will be a guest on the program, as well as Lexi Shepard. And then Warren Wilson came to town the following evening, so back-to-back nights, and Destiny Williams goes over the 1,000-point mark as the Tornadoes defeat the Warren Wilson Owls 80-75 in that one. Shakira Thompson also with a game-high 7 3-pointers, but a big night again for Williams, and she joins that elite club. Next up for the Tornadoes, they will head to Bob Jones. That's tomorrow. So down to the upstate of South Carolina, where the Tornadoes will have a non-conference game at Bob Jones, and then taking on Division I Wofford on Wednesday at 7 p.m. That game will be on ESPN+, so some awesome broadcast treatment for that one, and hope you can tune in or make it down to Wofford on Wednesday to check out the Tornadoes. And with that, we're excited to bring into the show once again guests from the women's basketball program. We're joined now by women's basketball head coach Donald Hudson. Coach Hudson, thanks for joining the program.
What's up, Phil? As always, thanks for having me.
Yeah, real pleasure. And an exciting and also unusual week schedule-wise last week, with the 3 games in 4 days, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Won 2 of the 3 games. Can you kind of take us through the week in those 3 contests?
Yeah, absolutely. It was challenging, Phil. Not just so much physically, but mentally as well. That's a lot on the girls' legs, and not being able to practice anything, it makes it tough mentally. So it went both ways with it, kind of challenging our mental and our physical ability. But I thought we did a decent job of taking care of home. There's a home stand where we would have loved to have all 3. We didn't play particularly well against Barry. I don't think we played well enough to deserve to win that game. had a chance to steal it late, but we turned it over too much, Phil. We had way too many turnovers. We turned the ball over 31 times. Any coach, any player will tell you at this level, if you turn the ball over 31 times, you shouldn't be in that ball game. And so we talked about that Wednesday at practice. Didn't do much on the court. Kind of got some shots up, did some active recovery, but we spent a lot of time in the film room on Wednesday. We watched all 31 turnovers, and we watched where most of them were our undoing. They were there. They took advantage of some of our mental mistakes and some of our lapses. We watched that. Everybody kind of had the same thoughts of, if we cut that in half, that's a totally different ball game. If we walk in the locker room after the game with 17 turnovers at 18, not 31, that's a different ball game. So that was a point of emphasis going into the last two with Warren Wilson and Pfeiffer. We didn't turn it over as much against Warren Wilson. Still had a little bit of issues with it against Pfeiffer, but we were able to come out with the win. Really good for the girls to have 2 days off after that, because now we right back at it with Bob Jones tomorrow.
Yeah, and Coach, that Pfeiffer game, a big second half, and the success this season, that's been the trend in quite a few of these wins. That big second half coming up big out of that halftime locker room, and then a scoring run into the fourth quarter as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's something that we kind of harp on right after we break our huddle and go into the second half of play, as we want to kind of force the other team to call the first timeout. I don't want to have to call that timeout because we're turning the ball over, not defending at a high level. And the girls are responding to that. Those runs kind of happen when our defense is really good. When our defense is really good, we can kind of get some shots off, get in transition when we're at our best. And that's when we're able to go on those 10-2 runs or 8-0 runs to kind of get some separation. That's been something that we've been able to do in all of our games so far in the second half. Hopefully that can continue.
Warren Wilson, an 80-75 win. And the big news on an individual level in that one, and we even had a kind of impromptu moment on the Boshemer Gymnasium floor when it happened. Destiny Williams becomes the third Tornado to score 1,000 career points, all at Brevard College, the fourth BC women's basketball player to do it throughout their overall career. And Destiny Williams, we've had her on the show a bunch. We've talked about all of her accolades and all her success, but what a moment to go over that 1,000-point club, and something that's very tough to do on any level of college basketball, without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely, Phil. It couldn't happen to a better person. That kid has worked her tail off. From watching her, we're kind of from the same area. So when I was recruiting her, saw kind of skinny kid running around the gym, but had a really, really high motor. That's what stood out. And you can kind of see that high motor on display every night when we play in the Bosch. But she's worked tremendously. She's put a ton of work in the weight room, in the classroom, on the gym floor. And now you're kind of seeing the rewards of it. And she joined some very elite company. But Destiny would be the first to tell you she doesn't do any of this without her teammates. It's been a long 4 or 5 years with her, but she'll tell you her teammates have been a very big part of that. But tremendous accomplishment for her. Something that she shouldn't take lightly. Not a lot of people get that. Not a lot of people get 1,000 points in college. So that's something that we talked about after the game, but so deserving of it. So deserving.
And just one more, Coach, on Destiny, because earlier in the week, she actually got to the 200 career steals mark as well. She had a double-double that night against Warren Wilson. She's done that countless times in her careers, dishing out assists, block shots, you name it. How about just the overall, abilities of Destiny Williams beyond just, obviously scoring 1,000 points?
Yeah. And this has been the case since Destiny got on campus. When she's on the floor, you feel her impact. It may not be in scoring or maybe just defensive rebounding or just being in passing lanes where you hear her voice. You feel her impact. And now it's stronger. It's grown stronger each year. And now I feel like when she's on the floor, everybody knows it. And we're a much better team when she's able to stay out there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, also versus Warren Wilson, the one thing that was incredibly notable, Shakira Thompson got red hot in this one. Ends up draining 7 3-pointers. That tied her career high, 21 points, all via the 3-point shot. When Shakira gets it going, lights out.
Yeah. And everybody on our bench knows that. That doesn't surprise anybody that's in the gym and watching us practice every day. When Shakira gets it going, like you just said, she really gets it going. And the way that Warren Wilson was defending us with their zone, we had some shots over the top. And we knew they were going to be there. And I encouraged the girls to continue to take those as long as they were the right shots. We want to play inside out, let the ball touch the paint, look for kickouts and driving kicks. And that's what we were doing. And we got some quality looks, not just Shakira, throughout the roster. I thought we got some decent looks at it. Some of them went, some of them didn't, of course. But yeah, Shakira really got it going in that second quarter and into the third quarter. I'm not sure if anybody kind of paid attention to the way they were defending her, but they went to a boxing one on Shakira, and that kind of opened everything up for everyone else. So she still was able to get a few shots off, but it really opened the floor up for everybody else. So that's just a credit to her, and that's a high level of respect. If somebody plays you in a boxing one, they're saying, hey, you're beating us right now. We got to take you away, and that kind of opened up everything else for the rest of the team.
Makes a lot of sense. Now, while Destiny Williams and Shakira Thompson, two veterans of this program and, getting it done, the young players doing it as well. Lexi Shepard making a huge impact this past week, kind of some bust out performances from her. Also, Aisha Short, plenty of newcomers and new faces for the Tornadoes getting it done. The youth.
Yeah, absolutely, Phil. And one of the good things about what we have right now, we have a nice mixture of veterans that have been around, and we infused with some young talent that we were able to bring in for the last 2 years. And the ones that we just brought in, they're really able to learn from the veterans who've been around and know what it takes to compete at a high level in practice and know what a good practice looks like and how to prepare for games. Like, this is what you look for in certain areas of the game. And it's meshing really well right now. I'm very proud of the youth that you're speaking of. And Lexi Shepard, like you just talked about, that kid has a really bright future if she sticks with it. I have no problem handing her the keys, leading this team as the point guard. She plays extremely hard. She works hard off the court, does a really good job in practice of getting better, and a tremendous person, really wants to be coached, wants to learn. And she goes out there and she kind of sets the tempo of the team. We've had some injuries early on, and that's opened the door for her to get out there and experience. She's the best teacher. And she's had some rough ones. We've talked about it with the turnovers and everything, but I've been more than pleased with what I've had from her so far. She does a really good job of drawing the defense and kicking out to open shooters. And that's something we're going to continue to need from her throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah, 7 assists, 7 rebounds from Lexi Shepard, and Aisha Short with a career-high 10 points and 2 made three-pointers in that win over Warren Wilson. Well, you mentioned the rest following that, intense stretch of 3 games in 4 days, but back-to-backs once again this week at Bob Jones tomorrow at 5 p.m. and then Wednesday at Wofford, a D1 opponent, 7 p.m. That'll be on ESPN+. Coach, preview the week ahead for us.
Okay. Yeah, we go down to Bob Jones tomorrow, a team that we played not too long ago at our place. We didn't play particularly well throughout the game, had a huge fourth quarter on the defensive end, and we're able to come away with a win. A very grindy game. I expect tomorrow to be the same way. They're going to play with a chip on their shoulder tomorrow. We got to make sure that they don't want the game more than we do. We won the game at our place. Now they're going to look to take care of their place. And it's a team where we've played them every year that I've been the head coach. So both teams know exactly what each team is going to be doing. There may be a few adjustments from each side or a few tweaks, but for the most part, when it comes down to it, both teams know where the other team is going to go to get production. So it's going to be a game where our defense has to play really well. We're missing a few players, but it's opened up the door for more opportunities for some of our younger players. And going into Wednesday, a team, Wofford, they play really well together. Well-coached team. They move really well without the basketball. A good defensive team, and it's always a good experience to go down there and play. And just to be on that stage, a televised game, and I'm really good friends with that coaching staff over there. They're always gracious when they invite us down.
Outstanding. Well, fans, if you're able to get down to the Greenville-Spartanburg area, Tuesday at Bob Jones, that's in Greenville, 5 p.m., and then Wednesday at Wofford in Spartanburg, and the Wednesday game at 7 p.m. will be on ESPN+. Well, Coach, it's a bit unusual as far as what happens after that Wofford game, where we won't see the Tornadoes in action until the new year. In fact, January the 7th at Huntington, USA South Conference play starting. Can you let fans in as far as the plans for the Christmas break, finals next week, and then, the Christmas break kicks in. But I know the Tornadoes, you guys will mean business throughout that entire time at the same time.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's a very odd scheduling part of the year, like you talked about. We look to find some games early in January when we get back, but nothing matched up with any of the schedule that we had in looking with our opposing teams. But we kind of need this break right now, Phil. You know, we're banged up. We're banged up. We got a number of players with little Nicky in nothing long term, but just like little small injuries, and this time off is going to be good for us. We are going to be coming off of back to back last week, 3 games in 4 days. So the rest is going to be needed, but at the same time, we'll come back on December 29th. And I think we have about a week and a half before our first game. And that week and a half has to be really good. It has to be really good. We have to make sure that throughout the break that we're also getting some conditioning in, getting some shots up so we don't totally fall out of rhythm. I want them to let their bodies rest, kind of get away, get with family, enjoy some family time, but also keep in mind what we're trying to accomplish here. So if everybody can kind of get a mile in a day, something like that, push-ups, sit-ups, get some shots up, just to make sure we're doing something physical. So when we get back, it's not a complete shock. But we'll have some time to get our rhythm back going into that weekend playing. I think it's Huntington and LaGrange on the road. I think that's
Correct.
the first that we have when we get back from the break.
Yep, Huntington and LaGrange on the road, and then Wednesday, January the 12th, back at the Bosch versus Maryville. Hope you can join us for that one and help the Tornadoes ring in the new year. Well, 6-2 start through the first 8 games of the season, Coach. Best of luck this week versus Bob Jones and Wofford. And we're going to try to effort a couple of the Tornado student athletes now and bring them into the program. If you can stick with us just a moment longer here, Coach. Joining the show now, Lexi Shepard, also Makenna Parkins have joined the program. Coach, before we let you go, help us introduce these two to NATO Nation.
I got you. I told you guys a little bit about Lexi Shepard, a player that's come in and taken advantage of the situation she's been handed. Has played it really well for us at times, has led comebacks at times, and kind of sets the tempo defensively for us. Tremendous person, someone that I look forward to working with the next 4 years. And Makenna Parkins, she's not totally new to the Tornado Nation. People saw her last year. Playing really well for us right now. Unfortunately, had a knee injury in our past game. She's going to miss these next 2, and we're going to miss her out there. But a kid that we know we can depend on for offensive production off the bench. When she checks into the game, I want her to be really aggressive, and she's doing a good job of that. And I'm playing post defense right now. It's something that we're working on, using her length and getting blocks up top and everything. But both players are playing at a high level right now, Phil. I look forward to working with these two going forward. You know, they have a tremendous future here. The sky's the limit. As long as they continue to work, and I know they will continue to work on the court and everything, this program is in good hands.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Coach Hudson, thanks for joining the program. As always, best of luck beginning tomorrow at Bob Jones, and look forward to seeing you on another edition soon at Tornado Talk. Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
All right, there he goes, head coach Donald Hudson. And as we mentioned, joined now by Makenna Parkins and Lexi Shepard. Makenna Parkins, sophomore forward from Marion, North Carolina, McDowell High School, wears number 24. How you doing, Makenna?
I'm good, Phil. How are you?
Excellent. Thanks for joining the program this evening. And also with us, number 5, Lexi Shepard, the freshman guard from Summerville, South Carolina, Summerville High School, making her Tornado Talk debut. Lexi, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's great to have each of you on the program. Makenna, let's start with you. You know, good start for the Tornadoes, without a doubt, you know, so far this season. You know, a 6-2 overall record at one point, you know, a 4-game winning streak and rolling along. Then a tough week last week, 3 games in 4 days and won 2 of the 3. You know, as far as the team overall and yourself goes, you know, so far so good, correct?
Yes, sir.
And what do you think the key to that success has been?
I think that our biggest key to success so far is just the way we mesh well together on and off the court. It's not just a team. We're more of a family, and I think you can tell that on the court and off the court.
And Lexi, you know, you've been put into kind of a baptism by fire type of role, you know, taking over, you know, those point guard duties and starting a few of these games. How's it been for you as far as adjusting to the college game and also being a part of this Tornado squad?
As far as adjusting, I feel like I adjusted well. I have really good coaches and teammates that helped me and guide me throughout the way. They didn't just put me in there and leave me by myself, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, no doubt. And, one part of the success, at least in my vantage point, has been these veterans that you all have. And I'd love to hear from the two of you as far as being underclassmen, but having the benefit of fifth year players like Shakira Thompson and Destiny Williams, also other seniors like Taisha Washington, Avery Lockwood. These players know what they're doing. They've been around the college game and around Tornado basketball. Makenna, love to hear from you first off. What does it, mean to have, that kind of leadership and that kind of, wisdom on the squad with you?
I think it's different when you hear like criticism from your teammates rather than coaches. I think sometimes it honestly helps you more than when you hear it from your coaches because, they've been in your shoes, they've been through it, and they've gotten through it, so they know, hey, let's do this instead of this as like what coach would say. And I think it hits home a little more when it's coming from not only a teammate but a friend.
Yeah, and Lexi, have you benefited from these older players, kind of showing you around and helping you out, as far as your game goes, but also just adjusting to college life?
Yes, sir. Somebody that helped me out the most is actually Shay, the other point guard. She's always on my case, and in practice, she's always making sure I'm going 100%. She pushes me the hardest, I feel, and I'm grateful for her because without her, I'd probably be a nervous wreck.
I'll let you in on a little secret, Lexi. Since the moment I met Taisha, she's been pushing me as a broadcaster. She's always on me to, bring more energy and to mention this stat or do this. So she's got that effect on people, no doubt about it. And I'm glad you're, one of the many beneficiaries of that. Now, a big moment this past week, one of your teammates, one of the leaders that we had mentioned of this team, Destiny Williams, went over the 1,000-point mark. And that was a big moment. We kind of took a special moment, and she did kind of a victory lap kind of thing, when it happened. Did you guys know that was coming? What did it feel like to be able to share that moment with your teammate Destiny? Makenna?
I've had the pleasure of playing with Des for 2 years now, and she is just one heck of a player. She's helped me become a better player, a better person on and off the court, and I've just loved playing with Des. She's honestly someone I look up to a whole lot, and when she finally hit that 1,000 mark, we all just – you could tell everyone was so excited for her as a team, just everybody.
Lexi, anything to add there?
Well, I've only known Des for this upcoming year, but like Makenna said, she has a good impact on the team, and she's a really good player. I did see it coming in the game because she only had 8 points, and I knew she was going to hit it, and we were just so excited for her and real proud of her.
Awesome. Yeah, it's so psyched that we were able to do that on the home court at the Bosch too. The student section was going wild. They knew what was going on as well. Well, I'd love NATO Nation to learn even more about each of you. Makenna, tell us a little bit about your background as a basketball player and how you found Brevard College.
Well, I started playing basketball when I was about 5. I just played through middle school and high school, and then one day Coach Hudson kind of approached me after a basketball game and was like, "Are you interested in playing the next level?" And I was like, "Well, yes, sir." And from there, I kind of knew that Brevard was where I wanted to go after touring, after being on campus. The atmosphere, it just really.
Yeah, no doubt. And Makenna, you're also a volleyball student athlete, so a dual sport athlete. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What it's been like to juggle the two sports. There's a certain amount of time where the two sports actually cross over quite a bit. And you guys had some great success on the volleyball court this year.
Yes, sir. This year's been a little different than last year. Last year, with basketball being first, there was a lot of overlap, like about a month. But this year, there was only just a couple weeks, and it's pretty tricky. But with good teammates and good coaches, you can get through it.
Yeah, no doubt you have gotten through it. And as that graphic showed us, you had a double, 16 points, 11 rebounds versus Pfeiffer. Congratulations on that. Lexi, tell us a little bit about your background. When did you start, dribbling a basketball, and how did you eventually get to Brevard College?
The first time I started playing basketball was in 7th grade for my middle school team. From there, I started loving it, started taking it more serious. I wasn't really good, so I took skills training with one of my training coaches, and my high school coach helped me a lot. When Coach Hudson texted me, I already had one other school talking to me, But the way he was talking to me, it was like he was actually invested in me and wanted the best for me. And I see that now. Like he's really the majority of the reason why I came here, not just for the academics, but yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Lexi, tell us a little bit about your academic goals. I know you're in your freshman season, but do you have your eye on a certain major or, where you want to head degree-wise?
As of right now, I'm undecided. I'm taking business classes, and I'll probably end up minoring in business, but I'm not sure about my major.
Very good. And Makenna, how about yourself?
I'm actually double majoring in exercise science and psychology with a coaching minor.
Very good. Both excellent tracks that each of you are on. And Lexi, don't worry about it. Plenty of time to get it all figured out. No doubt about it. Well, before I let you go, I want to give you each the opportunity to give any shout outs or thank yous. Anybody that may have helped you along the way, anyone who might be watching this program either live or on replay, or just anyone you want to, perhaps say hello to. Makenna?
I just want to thank the Lord for giving me the ability to play ball at a higher level, and my family for making it happen.
Very good. Lexi, shout outs or thank yous?
I want to thank my dad and my mama, and then all my coaches, the current ones, and then the ones I left back home.
Very good. Makenna, Parkins, and Lexi, Shepard. These two student athletes, have been performing all season long to this point, and plenty of big highlights are ahead, no doubt about it. Lexi out of Summerville, South Carolina. Makenna out of Marion, North Carolina. Good luck this week as the team hits the road, Bob Jones and Wofford. And I can't wait to see you back in the Bosch when we ring in the new year with the Tornadoes women's basketball program. Great job this evening, ladies. Makenna, Parkins, and Lexi Shepard. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you for having us.
All right, there they go. And we're going to shift gears and talk some men's basketball as Tornadoes men's basketball team gearing up for more action this week. And joined now by men's basketball head coach Lee Burgess. Coach Burgess, thanks for joining the program.
Absolutely. Always enjoy spending time with you, Phil. So thanks for having me on.
Well, want to recap the most recent results. And, Bob Jones, a 90-82 win over Brevard last week. I know that's a difficult place to go down and play, a great atmosphere that they create there. But season high points for the Tornadoes. Alex Wesig with a career high night of 24 points. Garrett Sutherland with 10. Also Charles Reed, career high 8 rebounds. All sorts of great individual performances, an 8-point spread at the end of the day. Not the result you wanted, Coach, but I'm sure there were plenty of positives that evening as well.
Yeah, there were some, not as many as we would like, but there were some positives. Yes, like you said, season high in point total, 82 points, and told our team, you scored 82 points. I think we should reasonably be expecting to win that game. So we did not guard them very well. They had one player, number 10, for them, who really gave us fits with a matchup. And we had a hard time stopping him, and that had a lot to do with the outcome of the game. But I thought that yes, we scored the ball pretty efficiently, which was good to see. I do think that we are rounding the corner in terms of offensive execution, which is a good sign. I'm sure we'll talk about Emory Henry game in a minute. We didn't shoot it great, but I thought we executed well in that game also. So in both of our games this last week, I think that our execution offensively is improving, which is a good sign. And now we need to pair that with getting some more stops and some key stops, paying attention to our scout a little bit better. And I think that will go a long way to helping us get over the hump. But like you said about Bob Jones, it's a beautiful arena they have. It is a nice environment to play in. The games with them have usually been competitive between us and them. This one was no different. We'll see them again later in the year at our place. We'll have to do a little bit better job defending them, but it was good to see us score the ball efficiently in that game.
And then after 2 days of rest, you head to Virginia to take on Emory and Henry, a 70-57 final there. LB Boyette with 12 points. That was his fourth double-digit output of the season. Also, Chancey Watson had 12. Not the result you're looking for, Coach, but like you said, there were some positives.
There were. I mean, Emory and Henry is a good team. So they've transitioned to Division II. So they're playing a Division II independent schedule this year. But, it's a situation where they've got some guys on their team that are on some scholarship money that we don't have the ability to give. It was a guarantee game for us. They paid us a little bit of money to go play them in that game. I think that Emory and Henry is a very solid team, newly moving up to Division II. I think that they're comparable with the good teams in our conference, the Maryvilles, the Covenants, the North Carolina Wesleyans. I think that it was a good indicator for us to see what we need to strive to be competing with the top teams in our conference. Again, I thought we executed well offensively. We didn't shoot it well. I think we're 5 of 27 from the arc as a team. We're going to go on the road and play against a good team. We need to go 10 of 27, 11 of 27 to give us a real puncher's chance in that game. I thought, Emory Henry is a physical team. I thought we matched their physicality pretty well. I thought we were much more intense in that game than the Bob Jones game. And so the challenge for us is now, can we do that on a consistent basis? We need to be able to do that. There are no certainties in this game. You can run great offense and miss the shot. You can play awful defense and the other team can miss the shot. There are no certainties. We want to put ourselves in the best position for success. And for us, that starts with bringing an intense effort for 40 minutes. And when we do that, our chances for success go way up. And we've been inconsistent in that this year so far. So challenge to our guys heading into our game tomorrow is to show up with a chip on our shoulder, with an edge to us, and go lay it out there in an intense way for 40 minutes. And if we can do that, then our chances for success go way up.
At Warren Wilson tomorrow, that's a 6 p.m. tip-off if you're in the Asheville, Swannanoa, Black Mountain area. Easy access to that one. Coach, preview that matchup against the Owls a bit for us.
Yeah, we haven't played them for a while. It's a place where both schools are in pretty close proximity to each other. But we've only played them twice since I've been here in 10 years. And each team won those matchups at home, but I think it's been probably 3 or 4 years since we played each other. So their personnel completely different, their coaching staff completely different. Obviously, our personnel is completely different. They've got a couple very talented offensive players. Number 15 Day for them is a very talented player. They just played Bob Jones a few days ago, and he had 31 in that game against Bob Jones. Number 2, Jackson for them is also a very talented player. He's their leading scorer. So they've got a couple very individually talented players that can score the ball a lot of different ways. And so making sure that they don't get rolling and have a night where they're scoring 31, 35 points or something like that is going to be important, especially Day number 15. He's going to take some very challenging shots, and he's probably going to make some very challenging shots. So not letting that frustrate us or getting out of our getting us out of our game plan or something like that will be important. They're going to mix up defensively what they do. We're going to see man. We're going to see some 3/4 court pressure. We're going to see zone. So we've worked on that the last 2 days in practice to make sure we are prepared for whatever we're going to see. I think we'll see everything. I think they'll throw all their defenses at us would be my guess. And so I think from a strategy standpoint, I think we're well prepared. And now, coaching staff will be trying to find the right words to say, the right, chords to pull to have our team motivated to play. And I think our guys will be doing those checks themselves to make sure that they are putting their bodies and their minds in the best position to be successful.
Then this Saturday versus Berea at the Boshemer Gymnasium, a 2 p.m. start. This will be the USA South Conference opener, so the start of league play. Also, it'll be the first time the men's basketball team would have played in front of the home crowd in what would have been 3 weeks come this Saturday. So great to see the Tornadoes coming back home after quite a few road games to start this season, but also the start of league play. Big one on Saturday, Coach.
It is, yeah. I appreciate you not asking me to scout that game just yet. We're not there yet as a staff or as a team. But yes, conference home opener. So we'll play this game tomorrow and then turn our attention to Berea. But yes, home game. We feel like we haven't been at home for a while. After this, we have a home game. I appreciate the admin staff not giving me too much heat for our December 31st game. But as I was looking at our home schedule, it's like a long break, and now we've got a home game against Berea. And if I didn't play it, we'd have another long break till we're at home again. I'm like, we got to get a home game. So December 31st, we can come out and have a New Year's Eve party or something like that, and play a game too. But it'll be good to be back in front of the home crowd on Saturday and a conference opponent as well. And looking forward to turning our attention to them and getting that scout ready to go.
Yeah, you mentioned, Coach, New Year's Eve, Friday the 31st versus Ferrum. That's at 2 p.m. at the Boshemer Gymnasium. There's also an exhibition at Division I USC Upstate on Saturday the 18th if you're down in the Greenville, Spartanburg area. And then, the new year turns and USA South Conference play starts in earnest. Coach, I know you've dealt with a lot of these, Christmas breaks and so forth, and, keeping the team focused, but also getting the necessary rest and so forth. Can you tell us a little bit about the plans for that stretch?
Sure. Yeah, we'll play Upstate on the 18th. That's a Saturday. And then our guys will get out for their break beginning the night of the 18th or the 19th, depending on how close they live. And we'll bring them back on the 26th and practice the morning of the 27th. So we'll get a week off, which is great. All of our guys are close enough to where they can get home pretty easily and really take advantage of that break. We don't have anybody, unless they choose to do it, for a vacation or something, that has to spend a day in the air or something like that to go home. So they're able to get home pretty quickly and easily and maximize that break. So we'll get about a week off. We'll certainly be talking to them about trying to break a sweat a couple times during that period, elevate their heart rate a little bit. But we'll bring them back in enough time that we can knock or beat some of that rust off for a few days before we get back out there against Ferrum.
Very good, Coach. Well, Coach, stick with us just a moment or two longer. I'd love to have you on board here as we bring in a couple men's basketball student athletes. Great to be joined now by Charles Reed along with Alex Wesig. We'll start with Alex Wesig, Coach, if you can help us introduce Alex to NATO Nation.
Yeah, absolutely. So senior for us, transferred in from right outside Atlanta, Lawrenceville, Georgia. So senior. Very talented player for us. Missed the preseason stuff with an injury. Recently got cleared and is now just working his way into the lineup. Had a huge game when he was able to get out there on the floor and has now moved his way into the starting lineup. One of our vocal leaders. We do hear his voice a lot. One of our more talented players. So. Definitely glad that he is healthy. And I do think, he's not a finished product just yet. He's still working through some of the conditioning, getting his legs, under him, being able to log some minutes and still get his jump shot to the rim and all that good stuff. So glad he's healthy and working his way back into tip-top shape.
And also joined by sophomore guard from Concord, North Carolina, Charles Reed. Tell us about Charles, Coach.
Yeah, so Charles, second year in the program, like Alex. Charles he leads in a different way. I do consider Charles a leader on the team. He's not as vocal as Alex, but he leads by example in a great way. He is somebody that I can count on to bring it every day in practice and every day in a game. He's going to play hard. He's going to lock in on what he's supposed to do, and he's going to give us his best effort. And I know he gets in the gym and works on the things that he thinks he needs to work on, which is always great to see. And I know I can coach him and tell him what he needs to do better. And we'll get a yes, sir from him, and he's going to go try to do what it is I'm asking him to do. So both of these guys are great teammates. Both of these guys are very important pieces to our puzzle. And both of these guys are going to be big parts of us getting this thing going in a successful direction this year.
Very good. Brevard College Tornadoes men's basketball at Warren Wilson tomorrow. That's Tuesday night, 6 p.m. in Swannanoa, North Carolina. And then home versus Berea at the Boshemer Gymnasium at 2 p.m. Hope you can join us for that one. Coach Burgess, best of luck this week. Thanks for joining the program.
Thanks. See y'all later.
All right, there he goes, head coach Lee Burgess. And as coach helped us introduce these two, joined now by Alex Wesig, the senior forward from Lawrenceville, Georgia, Mountain View High School. Alex, thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, no problem.
Also joined now by the sophomore guard from Concord, North Carolina, J.M. Robinson High School, Charles Reed. Charles, thanks for joining the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Alex. Well, we'll start with you. And, Coach mentioned, you getting cleared and so forth. And then you have this bust-out performance versus Bob Jones, career high 24 points. You did that in 25 minutes, almost a minute per point, or vice versa. You felt good that night, I would imagine. Alex, tell us about it.
It was my first game back, and I had the first game jitters, but I just had to control what I was doing and produce something that could for the team to get us the closest chance we could to win.
Yeah, and 11 of 17 from the field. You also pulled down 6 rebounds and had 4 assists on the evening. And sophomore guard Charles Reed, you had a big night at Bob Jones as well, career high 8 rebounds in that one. You also, were able to dish out 4 assists. You got it done. 6 starts this season, Charles Reed. Tell us about that output at Bob Jones. You're getting it done on the glass.
Yeah, I had to contribute in some way. I haven't been shooting the ball well this season, so I have to do something as that guards, like defense, steals, rebounds, stuff like that.
Alex, people don't realize, basketball players aren't one-dimensional,
Yeah.
You're not just a shooter. You're not just a rebounder. You're not just a defensive stopper. You got to do all these things to compete on the college level. Can you talk about the importance of being a versatile player in all those areas imaginable?
Well, it's not all just scoring, even though most people think it's just scoring nowadays. Like Charles said, Charles is really good at defense and getting able to move. That's why he's getting a bunch of clock, because he's just one of those people that move around. Because you need to bring that energy onto the team too. Because if you don't have that energy, you're not going to do those versatile things. You're not going to go dive on the extra, go get the extra rebound or the loose ball. You got to share it too, and it just gets around.
Yeah, and Charles, I'm sure you see that from your teammates as well, how they're getting it done in all sorts of areas.
Oh, yeah, I see that as well. I try to lead by example. They see me playing defense, diving on the floor. They're gonna do the same thing, and that's my goal.
That's right. The little things, no doubt, they add up. Well, this week, games at Warren Wilson tomorrow, then also the USA South Conference opener versus Berea on Saturday. I know you guys have been working hard in practice, since those road games last week. You're able to, have a short road trip tomorrow, then back at home on Saturday. Alex, tell us what the key is going to be this week.
This week, we haven't checked up for Berea, but for Warren Wilson, it's mainly to stop their 2 players that we know the most is number 15, Day, and number 2, I forgot his name, but it's mainly just to stop them from scoring as much and slow their shots down and see what we can change around, and I guess not change around, but slow them down and then run our own stuff at a good pace so we can come back, get close.
Yeah, no doubt. And Charles, you feel like, energy high, you guys in a good spot heading into these games this week?
Oh, absolutely. Both teams are winless at this point. So everybody's trying to get one, and we got to take that from them because they're not going to just give it to us, vice versa.
No doubt about it. Well, Charles, would like NATO Nation to learn a little bit more about you. You're out of Concord, North Carolina. Tell us about your upbringing as a basketball player and ultimately how you found Brevard College.
Well, I started playing basketball at 5, 6 years old. My dad introduced me to the game of basketball. And then after that, I started playing AAU, high school ball. And then how I found Brevard, I wasn't highly recruited out of high school, so I was emailing coaches left and right, trying to continue my basketball career. And then that's where I found Brevard. I emailed Coach Miles, he emailed me back, and that's why I'm here now.
Outstanding. Coach Miles Leathers. Alex Wesig, the senior forward from Lawrenceville, Georgia, Mountain View High School. You spent some time at Catawba College as well. Tell us about your background as a basketball player, and same question, how you found Brevard College.
So about like my background, I started when I was young, probably around 5 or 6, same age as Charles. But I stopped playing for like 10 years or so. I was playing other sports at the time. Ended up picking it back up in like middle school and played all throughout high school. I wasn't highly recruited out of college either, but I was in contact with coaches. And so I ended up going to Catawba for my first 2 years, and then got into the transfer portal and was looking around. By the time I got into the transfer portal, I was with a meniscus tear, so I was rehabbing with that as well. And I was emailing around, and Coach Miles ended up emailing me, and we started getting in contact a lot more, and I ended up coming here.
Very good. Love to hear how those paths wind up right here at Brevard College in the mountains of Western North Carolina. Tell us a little bit about each of your studies, the books, the academic side of things. Charles, have you zeroed in on a major, and what are you working on in the classroom?
Yes, I'm a business and administration major. So I'm trying to. I haven't decided what I wanted to do with that yet. I'm still looking. So I'm looking around still.
Very good. Well, certainly an excellent place to do it here at Brevard College. The business major. And Alex Wesig, tell us about your studies.
So I'm an exercise science major, and right now I'm doing an internship at Renew Spine Center down the street, right across the hospital, with Dr. Van Dyke. He's a chiropractor. And if, basketball doesn't work out for me, I'm planning on going to chiropractic school.
Outstanding. Well, it sounds like you're off to a good start, no doubt about it, as far as, getting some internship hours under your belt as well and some real experience out there. Love to talk a little just general hoops with each of you guys as well. Let's turn the page to the NBA. Alex, do you have a favorite team or, perhaps a player you've modeled your game around?
I haven't really modeled my game around anybody, but a lot of people have said I play like Kevin Love, almost like back in high school. That's how that people compared me to. Favorite team, I would say the Nets, because my favorite player is Kyrie, but he hasn't even played this year. He's been out for a while. So I don't really have a favorite team at the moment.
Do you watch much of the action on television, and do you guys gather as a team at all?
I try to. My TV doesn't let me connect to, I have to cast from whatever is on my phone to my TV, and sometimes it just doesn't work, so I don't watch a lot of TV.
Yeah, this life of a cord cutter is what they call them. People who rely on those devices to watch these games. Charles Reed, tell us about your interest as far as the NBA or basketball in general. Are you a fan of anybody?
Yeah, ever since I was young, I like Chris Paul. Chris Paul's been my favorite player for a while. I just like his leadership skills and how he makes players around him better. So right now I'm a Suns fan. Well, we have one of the best records in the league right now.
Yeah, no doubt. And, huge year last year as well. The Western Conference champions, the Phoenix Suns. Well, before I let each of you go, do want to give you the opportunity to give any shout outs or thank yous, anyone that may have helped you along the way in your journey as a student athlete. Alex, the floor is yours.
So I just want to thank my family, because they always push me every day. And then most of my coaches and trainers, they've always pushed me to make me the best player I am today and the man I am today as well.
Very good. Same opportunity for you, Charles. Shout outs or thank yous?
Yeah, I want to shout out and thank my family that's watching right now. My mom, my dad, my sister, my little brother. I love y'all.
Very good. Alex Wesig and Charles Reed, two outstanding student athletes from the men's basketball program here at Brevard College. I really enjoyed talking to you both this evening. Thanks for joining the show this evening, and best of luck. Games at Warren Wilson, that's tomorrow, and then the season opener for conference play on Saturday versus Berea at the Bosch at 2 p.m. I'm sure NATO Nation's going to turn out for that one, no doubt about it. Can't wait to see you in action. Thank you, Alex and Charles, for joining the show.
Thank you.
All right, and we want to thank NATO Nation for your support throughout the 2021 calendar year. This will be our last show of this year, and we'll turn the calendar. As Coach Burgess mentioned, we'll actually have a men's basketball game on New Year's Eve at 2 p.m. And just want to thank all of you for all your support all season long, and can't wait to continue this magical journey of Brevard College Tornado Athletics. I want to thank our sponsors, Arby's, Brevard Orthopedics, BSN Sports, eGolf, Florida Brevard, Hampton Inn, Ingalls, Jets Pizza, Pepsi, Triangle Stop, and Young Transportation. I want to thank everybody behind the scenes who's helped us all season long, especially producer Joseph Marvin. Thank our guests this evening, head coach Donald Hudson from women's basketball, Makenna Parkins and Lexi Shepard, women's basketball student athletes. Also, head coach Lee Burgess from men's basketball, along with student athletes Charles Reed and Alex Wesig. Well, thanks again. Happy holidays. Go Tornado.